Watch this, same query, same indexes, same table, 40 milliseconds becomes 40 seconds overnight. No schema change. No code deploy. Nobody touched the indexes. The database just got dumber, and it's not corruption or a bad index, it's stale statistics, and almost nobody checks them. Here's what most engineers skip. Postgres doesn't scan your live data to plan a query. It looks at a cached snapshot of statistics, row counts, value distributions, most common values, and guesses. If that snapshot is old, the guess is garbage, and garbage guesses produce garbage plans. Look at the estimate versus reality. The planner expected 40 rows for cancelled orders. There are actually 4 million now, because a bulk import just flipped half the table's status. It picked an index scan expecting a handful of rows and got buried. Why does this happen? Autovacuum only reanalyzes a table after roughly 10% of it changes, plus a small base threshold. On a huge table, millions of rows can shift before Postgres even considers refreshing stats. Bulk loads and migrations blow right past that trigger. The immediate fix is almost embarrassingly simple: run analyze manually. Watch the estimate snap back to reality and the plan flip to something sane, a sequential scan instead of a slow index dive through millions of rows. But default sampling isn't always enough, especially on skewed columns. Postgres samples only a few hundred rows per column by default. For a heavily skewed column, crank up the statistics target so it samples more and models the distribution properly. There's a subtler trap the planner almost always gets wrong: correlated columns. If you filter on city and zip underscore code together, Postgres assumes they're independent and multiplies the selectivities, wildly underestimating rows since a zip code basically determines a city. Sometimes the sample itself lies. On huge tables, Postgres' estimate of distinct values can be way off, especially for near-unique columns. You can override it directly instead of hoping the next analyze happens to sample better. For tables that grow fast, event logs, queues, anything ingesting constantly, the default 10% trigger is way too slow. Lower the scale factor per table so autovacuum reanalyzes far more often, before your plans have time to rot. Don't wait for a slow query to tell you your stats are stale, check directly. This one query shows exactly which tables haven't been analyzed recently, so you catch it before production does. Here's the DevOps piece almost every pipeline forgets: bulk loads, migrations, and backfills change massive amounts of data instantly, but autovacuum won't react that fast. Bake an explicit analyze into the tail of every ETL job and migration script, treat it as mandatory, not cleanup. Indexes get all the attention, but a perfect index sitting on stale statistics still produces a terrible plan. Statistics are the part of query optimization nobody reviews in code review, and they're usually the real root cause when nothing changed but performance tanked. So tell me, has a query ever gone from fast to catastrophic overnight on you, and did you ever find out it was stale stats?